energizing experience before, during, and after construction. It's not enough that you get a quality building. They pledge you'll experience quality every step of the way. Consolidated Construction. OneCallToBuild.com. We're talking with Rihanna Wickett at Elevate Performance Physical Therapy with an Elevate Performance Health Minute. So if somebody has an athlete, Rihanna, who they suffer a concussion, they come and see you, what can you do for them?
We want to see them as soon as possible to make sure that we can make their return to sport as safe as possible. So we can look at proprioception, balance, vestibular work, and cervical strength. When
they try to get back up to speed, you said a treatment plan, very important as they return to sport.
Making sure that the athlete has a skilled plan moving forward so that they don't return to sport way too early, making sure that the return to contact is an appropriate timing.
And the goal of that is you do not want to have another concussion getting back to it too early.
Correct. If we have another concussion too early, the athlete is at a huge risk of further problems down the road, including anything with their school or memory or continuous headaches.
For concussion treatment, get started at elevateperformancesd.com.
You just got a quote from a company and are now being billed for not choosing them. Many contracts have what's referred to as a contingency agreement. These typically state that if you don't go with them, you, after insurance has approved the repair work, will be charged a percentage of the job they quoted. Ask up front if they charge to provide an estimate. Never sign anything that you haven't fully read or understand. If you have any questions, reach out to the South Dakota Office of Attorney General's Consumer Protection Division at 800-300-1986.
KIMM Rapid City and K294BT Rapid City, the Black Hills Sports Station, 106.7 FM and 1150 AM, Fox Sports Rapid City.
Russell Wilson to be the quarterback of the New York Giants, and in that year, Wilson expects to be the starter.
Yeah, I expect to be the starter and come in here and be ready to rock and roll every day. To get a lead, I think this team's really looking for somebody to lead them in every way.
Wilson officially signed his contract with the Giants today, meeting with the media there. Vikings GM Kwesi Adofo-Mensah confirmed that they did have talks with quarterback Aaron Rodgers and wouldn't rule 100% out that Rodgers could be an option going forward if he's still a free agent. But as for the status of J.J. McCarthy,
at every checkpoint, whether it been the draft process or practice until the injury or really the offseason now, he's met the bar. He's exceeded our expectations at every point. And so I don't have the ability to tell you what the future is, but I can tell you what I expect to be the outcome.
Celtics say Jason Tatum has been upgraded to questionable for tonight's game against the Suns. Bucks without Giannis Antetokounmpo tonight against the Nuggets. I'm Dan Beyer.
It's time for South Dakota's Sports Talk Show. This is the Nate Brown Show, featuring live callers, great interviews, and thought-provoking sports talk. From the biggest national names to the hottest stories across South Dakota. Welcome to the Nate Brown Show. Here's your host, Nate Brown.
All right, welcome in. Wednesday edition of the program. We are live on Fox Sports Radio. South Dakota Sports Talk Show. Welcome in. Hope you've had a great day. It's my first time wearing shorts in quite some time. I mean, it's that time of year, right? 50s to 60s to 70s, wherever you're at tonight. We'll take that in South Dakota. It's always a great day in South Dakota. We know that on South Dakota Sports Talk Show. The Nate Brown Show is back live. Welcome in. Really good show tonight. Local, regional, national. We got you covered. Some great guests. Some of you haven't heard from in a year. In a year, we got a big-timer tonight. MLB opening day tomorrow, so I said, we got to get this guy, and we're ready to go. The Nate Brown Show is on Fox Sports Radio. Remember, you can bring us up on X, follow the show, and watch us live at Nate Brown Show. So if you're on the app X, follow us, watch us live every afternoon at Nate Brown Show, and YouTube channel is up right now, The Nate Brown Show on YouTube. Subscribe. You've got every show live and archived right there. Let's get out of the gate. Let's look at the guests, and then we'll get popping today. A lot to cover and some interesting topics on this Wednesday. South Dakota Sports Talk Show with the Forever Lawn guest lineup. Brought to you by Forever Lawn of South Dakota. Best lineup of artificial grass, no doubt. Quality product, quality company. They'll install it, get on their list for 2025. It's that time of year. They're getting ready to get busy, putting in landscape grass for your home. Golf greens. You haven't seen this stuff? This is really nice. Putt and chip right in your backyard. featuring canine grass for dogs, sports grass. They've got the best lineup. Look for yourself. Google Forever Lawn in South Dakota. You've heard me talk to you about it. Check them out yourself. Google Forever Lawn in South Dakota. They're ready to install across the entire state. Forever Lawn guest lineup tonight. Matt Zimmer's going to get here. SiouxFallsLive.com. We'll talk to Zimmer. He was at the South Dakota State Pro Day today. We'll take a look at the Jacks on the football side, get his reaction to the basketball scenario as well. Matt Zimmer coming up. SiouxFallsLive.com. Does he have an update on Eric Henderson, men's basketball coach? Is he in the mix in some of these jobs? Some people throwing around Drake. Matt Zimmer straight ahead. SiouxFallsLive.com. Our guest we haven't had on in a year. He is back and ready. Major League Baseball Fox Sports analyst Ben Verlander. Ben Verlander back on the show tonight. So if you haven't heard from him, he is really, really good. Opening day tomorrow. Fox Sports Major League Baseball analyst Ben Verlander live from L.A. Mike Golick Jr. is back on tonight. Big-time heavy hitter. We'll talk NFL and more. Gojo and Golick is his show. Mike Golick Jr. is in. And Cody Tucker joins us tonight from Wyoming. Covers the Mountain West and Wyoming. 7220 Sports senior writer Cody Tucker is on. Wednesday show is packed. It looks good. Let's hit a lot of stuff here. 605-720-1067 is our number. That's the Pizza Ranch studio hotline for you. 605-720-1067. Call us there. Be a part of the conversation. If you can't call, you can text. You can text the show at 605-720-1067. That's how we get your messages on the Barron's Wilson listener text line. Text us there. One more time, 605-720-1067. All right, couple of things to start with. I'm going to get to the college basketball stories that I want to hit, but I am going to start with a South Dakota situation. So I was talking about wearing shorts, right? It's 50s, 70. I mean, from west to east, it's really nice, and we'll take it for at least while we can get it here in the early spring. We'll take it. We're going to be up and down. Just don't get used to it, but wear shorts when you can. Play a little golf when you can. Here's what's happening. Weather's turning nice. You got track getting ready to go. You got the spring sports getting ready to go. And what is that? That's softball, and that is high school baseball's already underway. I mean, I'm looking at this. High school baseball is already underway. And I want to start with a South Dakota sports story that I don't know if a ton of people are passionate about this, but yet there's a pretty big chunk of folks that want it to stay the same. And so I don't know if this is going to move the needle one way that some people want it to go. I don't know if there's enough people passionate about this to make this big change. Yet on this program, I hear from people. I've interviewed folks from baseball guys to ADs to, some people say, well, yeah, I think this would work out really well. And then some people say, no, this isn't screwed up at all. This is going really, really well. What am I talking about? High school baseball in the state of South Dakota, as we get starting another season right now, it is not sanctioned as an official high school sport. And so I think the general sports fan out there, if you're listening tonight, did you know that? Probably, because you're like, okay, they play high school baseball. They're playing for their schools, but it's not sanctioned by the Activities Association, so they don't have a sanctioned state tournament with the Activities Association. It's not recognized as an official high school sport. It is a club sport, but you're still playing for your school. And so there's some people that have some interest in making it a sanctioned high school sport. It's been discussed, I'm going to say, the last 5 years. And it's really ramped up the last couple. Why is it continued to be discussed, sanctioning or not? South Dakota's like last on the list to not have sanctioned high school baseball officially through the state organization, the Activities Association, like all of our other sports. And so people keep on thinking, well, give me a break. South Dakota needs to step up and get with the times. We should have an official sanctioned high school baseball program, and this should be treated like every other high school sport. And so I see that. I used to be that guy that was pretty passionate about this. I don't have any baseball players in my family, so you don't have to. I don't have a vested interest here. I've just always thought it legitimizes the sport more to me if it is a sanctioned high school sport. And you could say, well, what does that mean? You have a state tournament. You get awarded the state trophy. It's looked at from recruiters across the country. If it's seen as a club sport, it just is what it is. It's not the end of the world. It's not a sanctioned sport. I think it legitimizes it in more ways than one to have it sanctioned. However, in South Dakota, we don't have sanctioned high school baseball. Why do I bring this up today? Not only that the season started, but yesterday I talked to Dan Swartos on this program. If you missed parts of the show, remember, you can bring it up on the podcast, so I won't go through the whole thing, but I talked to Dan Swartos, Executive Director of the Activities Association, yesterday, and they did a subcommittee on high school baseball. How is it going? How is the Baseball Association doing running it? Should we look at sanctioning it? What would that mean? Are there people passionate about it across the state to sanction high school baseball? All of that stuff that they looked at, they're going to give a report on that next week at the Activities Directors Conference. So there's a conference of ADs next week in Chamberlain, and they're going to give a report on this subcommittee that looked at, should we sanction high school baseball? What does that mean? Is it going okay? The read I got on this yesterday from Dan Swartos, and you can go and take a listen to the podcast if you want. The read I got, the feeling I get after interviewing some ADs, some coaches, some baseball association folks that run it right now, I think we're a ways off on sanctioning high school baseball. That's the read I get. That's the feeling I get. A little bit of insight I have. Nobody's told me it will never get sanctioned, but nobody's told me, man, we have to do this. We're behind the eight ball. Unlike other states, we got to get with this. Here's the reason I say that. Dan Swartos said yesterday, as they looked at this, it was really going well. Meaning high school baseball now, as it's operated by the Baseball Association, it's really going well. That tells me I don't think there's going to be a big push from the Activities Association from Pierre to say, hey, we got to make this a change. We got to add a sport here, and we're going to have governance over it and the whole thing. If the Activities Association's saying, yeah, it looks like it's going really well, the Baseball Association has been on this show and told me, we enjoy it. We have it all lined up. We're passionate about it. We think it's going well. We're adding teams. There's some good growth here. Who's going to push for this to sanction it? So that's why I said I just kind of gathered that intel yesterday as they did this subcommittee. How does high school baseball, what's the future of that here in South Dakota? I think the future is it's going to stay as a club sport. It's I've heard from ADs that think it's going fine. It's not under their purview, so to speak. Yes, it's a part of the school, but it's really not. They're fundraising on their own. They're doing some of that stuff. So I think a lot of the schools are fine with it. It's an independent type deal under the school's name that you play high school baseball for your school still. And so I think there's all these entities. You go through it. Activities Association, I get the feeling they think it's going fine. They don't have to push to sanction it. Baseball Association, which is running it right now independently, they think it's going fine. ADs that I've talked to, and I didn't talk to everybody, but the ADs I've talked to, yeah, I think it's going pretty good. We don't have to control it and worry about the budgets and stuff like that. It's going okay. So 3 out of 3. It's a pretty good average. 3 out of 3, I'm telling you, sanctioning high school baseball, whether people, maybe I thought, yeah, there might be a push for that just to join all these other states. We're one of the last ones in the entire country. I think it's a ways off. And maybe my deal is maybe that's okay. Maybe that's okay. I think if people are involved in it, players are playing it, and the state's saying it's going fine, maybe that's okay to you guys. And so I think that's where we're going to be. So that's the update I had on high school baseball. It's not official. We'll see what the report and that discussion is like next week at the AD's meeting. They're going to discuss what came out of it. But the early tell there I get. I think everybody's fine with how high school baseball is now as a club sport. And I think no matter if there's people that want to sanction it or not, I don't think there's enough. Okay, let's go to this college basketball situation. There's two things here. Two things. I think college basketball, we got to discuss how this transfer portal opening up this week is really bizarre. It's really bizarre. I'm just a host in the state of South Dakota, and I'll tell you, this seems like a mess, and I wonder how the NCAA continues to do stupid stuff like this in the name of, well, we got to be fair. We got to let the kids get opportunities. We got to make sure we don't, we got to be supportive of the players. So let's do the transfer portal right in the middle of the men's basketball tournament and the women's basketball tournament. Isn't that fun? That just makes sense across the board, does it not? Here's an example. Washington State women's basketball. I know they're not a big draw, but Washington State women's basketball, they just won the other night. The player that was one of their leading scorers went into the transfer portal this week, and now she's not going to play in their second game, which they're getting ready to play NDSU, fittingly. So Washington State's going to play NDSU. This is the women's NIT. Because, it's just the NIT. I don't give a rip what it is. You're on a team, you're not on a team. Either you're in or you're out. And Washington State women's basketball, because we allow the portal to open up this week, while teams are still finishing their seasons, their leading scorer from the other night, which they won a game, their leading scorer goes to the transfer portal, so she's not going to play in their second game against North Dakota State tomorrow. How does somebody tell me? How does the NCAA even think this is good? Because I think they're hoping, well, nobody's going to notice this. It's the WNIT. It's Washington State. It's NDSU. Nobody's going to notice it at all, except for kind of people in this area. I mean, there are people that, kind of notice this stuff. And if people actually grabbed this and had a story on it, you'd say, well, this is ridiculous. We allow players to leave their teams and they're still playing and they're going to transfer because, boy, we got to get mine and we got to get out in front. We got to make sure we're in there with the 700 other players. I don't want to be left behind. And the NCAA is the one that's at fault here. They're at fault. And I think about this and I say, is there any benefits to allowing this to happen, the transfer portal to open up during the tournament? For the women, for the men, allow it to open up. What is the deal? Well, we got to make sure we are so fair to the players. We got to make sure we don't, stop schools from getting an opportunity to build their rosters and the whole thing, the schools that aren't playing. Well, here's the thing. Do you think the smaller schools benefit on this too? That's my question of the day as you're joining the Nate Brown Show tonight. People always tell me this. Well, you complain about the transfer portal and the South Dakota State's losing players and stuff like this, but those schools benefit too. The smaller programs benefit. They grab players from D2 and they can grab and build rosters like this. Well, let me just ask you. I know that happens a little bit. I know there's players that go from D2 to maybe an SDSU, right? An NDSU. I understand that. But these mid-majors lose real deal players. And they're trying to play against the real deal programs. This isn't a scenario where SDSU picks up the best of the best players in D2 and just reloads. They might get one every now and then. I think it's heavily weighted the other way. People say the smaller schools can benefit from the transfer portal too. It works both ways. That's the quote. It works both ways. Well, how good South Dakota State, how good would they have been on the men's side this year? You guys tell me. If Zeke Mayo and Kyle stayed instead of going to UCLA and Kansas. Boy, that would have been nice to have Kyle and Mayo on this SDSU team, right? They might have been a little bit better even. They were in the mix, got bounced in the Summit League tournament. Yeah, it might have been just a little better to have Mayo another year and Kyle. That might have worked out okay, huh? There's not as big a benefit for the mid-major programs. It's not even close. So you tell me, though. I'm going to ask that question of the day. Let's let you sound off on it. The transfer portal, does it work both ways? Does it work both ways? Small programs also pick up big-time talent from other schools. Does it work both ways? I say it's sparse with the smaller programs picking up players that are key. It's huge for the other big-time programs, the one that have all the money, and they can steal from a New Mexico who just had their best player, Dent. You saw him in the tournament just this past weekend. He's in the portal. He was a big-time player at New Mexico, and now he's going to end up somewhere unbelievably good. Those are the programs that benefit more to me. But you tell me, does it work both ways, the transfer portal? People say it can be fair. It's fair. It works both ways. It's not going to kill the mid-majors. I'm telling you, it is a killer. Would NDSU be a lot better with Grant Nelson? Just like I told you, SDSU, I mean, it's not even close. USD's lost players. Stanley Amude over the years. I mean, it's ridiculous. It's crazy. So transfer portal opens up. Players can leave. Seasons are still going. It's a beauty. Do you think it can work both ways? What are your answers here? 120 votes coming in right now on the Nate Brown Show online. Listener text. It works both ways, but after the tournament, for God's sake. Transfer portal open right now before the season's over is nuts. Okay? Do you think the transfer portal can work both ways for the smaller programs? 58% of you say no, smaller schools are the ones that lose. I believe that. I absolutely agree with the 58% of people. 42% say, yes, it can work both ways. Smaller schools can benefit. But to me, not nearly as much. They don't have as much to offer. Literally offer. Money. They don't have as much to offer. That's where I'm at. By the way, I got one more change I want to make to college basketball. Okay? One more change I want to make to college basketball. I'll get into that here later on. Let's talk mid-majors, the transfer portal, and more. Matt Zimmer covers the Jacks, SiouxFallsLive.com. He is live next.
This is the Nate Brown Show.
How do you make a buffet day even better? Make it a play day. The Pizza Ranch and Fun Zone Arcade is your place for good food and good times. Won the big game? Make it a play day. Aced your test? Make it a play day. Just need to get out of the house? Make it a play day. The Pizza Ranch and Fun Zone Arcade has all your favorites and all kinds of fun. So bring your family, bring your friends, bring your team. For good food and good times, make it a buffet day and a play day at the Pizza Ranch and Fun Zone Arcade.
Save big on everything for your next project when you shop at Menards. It's the perfect time to start planning for outdoor projects. Loctite Landscape Construction Adhesive works great for securing blocks, bricks, and stone. It's a true all-weather application that's water-resistant. Save big on Loctite adhesives when you shop at Menards. Plus, check out the weekly flyer on Menards.com for plenty more great deals happening this week.
Save big money at Menards.
Hey, sports parents and ballers of all ages, Rapid City has a new sports facility that you have to check out. E3 Sports Complex on East North Street is the newest indoor sports facility featuring 4 full courts. E3 Sports is here to serve the community and wants all athletes of any age to come and experience expert training, coaching, and the opportunity to unlock your athletic potential. Memberships and court rentals are available now. Come to play at E3 Sports Complex. Learn more at e3sports.org.
Here's your Fox Sports Rapid City forecast. Mainly clear skies tonight with the lows around 39. North winds 5 to 10 miles per hour. High of 76 tomorrow. Tomorrow night 51. High of 71 Friday with a slight chance of rain. Mixed precipitation likely changing to all snow 39 on Saturday. That's your forecast on the Black Hills Sports Station, Fox Sports Rapid City. Currently, it's 71 degrees.
Find your new Cadillac at Danny Meno Rapid Cadillac. Shop our best selection in years. We have 25 new Cadillacs available for immediate delivery. Get financing as low as 3.9% APR with up to a $1,000 purchase allowance on select models. Choose from all-wheel drive 2025 Lyric EVs with a $7,500 federal tax credit. Get your new Cadillac right here in Rapid City at Danny Mano Rapid Cadillac or rapidcadillac.com. Bank the finance contract is limited. With qualified credit, expires 3/31/25.
Imagine this, a bank that is committed to you, that understands your needs, your values, and your growth. No more settling for the status quo. Pioneer Bank & Trust offers tailored solutions, innovative services, and a team of experts dedicated to your success. You deserve more attention and more support from your bank. Pioneer Bank & Trust. Local.
Pioneer Bank & Trust. Member FDIC.
This isn't just the sound of a legendary Brunswick pool table. It's the sound of families about to make memories together. And while this may sound like the hum of a spa, listen closely and you'll hear backyard fun for years to come. So while Splash City's guarantee of quality sure sounds good, we know quality time sounds even better.
Who wants another burger? Splash City, 1024 West Omaha, across from Connects in Rapid City.
From high school to college to the pros, from Rapid City to Sioux Falls, the Nate Brown Show is South Dakota's sports talk show.
Welcome back in. South Dakota Sports Talk Show is on. Wednesday edition. Hope you're having a great day. Thanks for making this show possible. The Nate Brown Show is live, Fox Sports Radio. Stream us there on X right now. Welcome in. Streaming live on X at Nate Brown Show. So follow the show. Watch us live if you want on your phone right there at Nate Brown Show. Mike Golick Jr. is dropping by tonight. We'll hit some NFL, college with Mike Golick Jr. Ben Verlander's on. Senior MLB analyst for Fox Sports. Haven't had Ben in a long time. Opening day tomorrow. We'll talk Major League Baseball. Ben Verlander from L.A. coming up. Let's go to Matt Zimmer. Busy today. Pro day for the Jacks. He was there. These guys putting up some numbers. Hit a little football today. I want to hit some basketball. SiouxFallsLive.com for the coverage from Matt Zimmer. Matt, welcome in. How are you?
I'm good, Nate. How are you?
Doing good, man. You've been busy. Got back from Connecticut. Hit the pro day today. I want to get to all this. Let me start with something on the basketball side. So transfer portal opens up this week. I don't get it. I mean, I don't know how the NCAA doesn't understand it. I'm in South Dakota looking at this going, we have the transfer portal open while players are still playing. There's a WNIT player who just played Monday night, and she went to the portal now, so she's not going to be with her team for their game against NDSU tomorrow. It's like, how can they not understand to not do this now? What's your take on, is it, well, we got to make sure the players have good opportunities. Can we wait a week or two?
I almost get the sense that the NCAA is so butthurt about the Supreme Court making that ruling a couple years ago to allow players to make money on NIL that led to this big, complete metamorphosis of the NCAA as a whole, that now they're just pouting and kind of saying, we're not going to do anything for anybody because the portal's out of control, NIL's out of control, everything's weird, everything's crazy, nobody likes anything. Most people think it's good that players can make money off their name, image, and likeness, but the sport as we know it, the sports, I guess, as we know them, basketball, football in particular, are just becoming something so different than what all of us fell in love with. And, I mean, I can't say it any better than you just did. I mean, what are we doing here, having the portal open during the tournament? I mean, I'm sure you saw Tom Izzo's rant the other day, which is making the rounds on Twitter, and everyone's clapping and saying, yeah, he said it, but no one's doing anything about it. So, like I said, I just feel like the NCAA is kind of saying, fine, if you're not going to let us exploit student-athletes like we have been for all these years, then we're just not going to do anything.
Where does an SDSU keep fighting here? Because how good would they have been with Mayo and Kyle on this team? Probably pretty good. Well, they lost them. And it's like, well, they filled the gap, and, they were pretty darn competitive. Well, they would have won the tournament with those two guys. So how does SDSU stay in this hunt with the portal just hitting you every year?
I don't know. I mean, basketball is where they're getting hit the hardest because, football, at least they can tell athletes, hey, you can win a national championship here. They're not going to win a national championship in basketball, certainly men's basketball. They can tell football players, we can get you to the NFL. You can get drafted out of this program. There's nobody been drafted. I mean, I guess Nate Walters was a second-round pick, but he had a short career. Baylor Shireman was a first-round pick, but he had to go to Creighton first to do it.
Yeah.
The basketball team is in way worse shape than football is. Mid-major teams are essentially being relegated. They're JUCOs now. That's what they are. You go play it. That literally is now Eric Henderson's sales pitch as the coach is, hey, he's no longer trying to get guys come here for 4 years, go to the NCAA tournament a few times, maybe try to win a game. Now his sales pitch is come here for a year or two, maybe get us to a tournament, maybe, become a starter, have a good year or two, and then you can go play in the Big Ten or the Big East or something, and then make your money. And again, I'm not one of those people that says go back to the old way where the players didn't have any rights or anything. I never thought it made sense that they couldn't make some money considering all the money they were making for their schools. But pay for play was not supposed to be it. Having these, guys entering the portal every single year, essentially becoming one-year free agents year after year, it doesn't have to be like that. You can have your cake and eat it too. We can have NIL. We can have the portal without it being this mess that it is right now that, like I said, nobody likes. And if they're not careful, pretty soon college football fans, college basketball fans are going to start tuning out. And these sports aren't going to make as much money as they used to. They're not going to be what they once were.
Matt Zimmer on tonight, covering the Jack, SiouxFallsLive.com. We'll get to the Pro Day here coming up. Follow him on Twitter at Matt J. Zimmer if you're not. I asked my audience tonight, question of the day. People tell me, the transfer portal works both ways. Don't get too worried. It works both ways. Does it work both ways for the smaller programs?
I mean, it works both ways in the sense that you can use it to your benefit the same way, you can use it to your benefit. But it's always going to hurt you more than it's going to help you. Zeke Mayo was a great player. He goes on to Kansas, is the leading scorer for Kansas. Baylor Shireman goes to Creighton, goes to the Sweet 16. He's a first-round draft pick. He's playing for the Celtics. That's what the Jacks lost. What have they gained in the transfer portal? Oscar Clough was a great player this year, but more often than not, they're not going to get a player of Oscar Clough's caliber. He was a Power 5 guy who had a prior relationship with Eric Henderson, who wanted to come here. He was the best center in the league. He just jumped back in the portal. He's going to go make $1 million somewhere. That's great. That's a nice story for SDSU, but that's the best case, what they're going to get out of the portal. More often than not, they're going to get a guy like Isaac Lindsey, the point guard they got from Wisconsin, who was a nice player, but he was by no means a game changer. Guys like Charlie Easley, who came from Nebraska, he was a really good player, a starter, but he's not a guy who's going to single-handedly take you to the NCAA tournament. So, yes, it goes both ways, and the mid-major schools like the Jacks or the Coyotes have no choice but you can't just make it about high school recruits anymore. You'll get left in the dust. You have to use the portal, but it's going to hurt you more than it's going to help you at that level. And the other thing is, if you're the Big Ten schools, now it's almost like you don't have to work as hard. You can just sit back and go, well, I'll wait and see what players Eric Henderson and Eric Peterson develop for me, and as soon as they become starting caliber double-figure scorers, I'll go steal them from him.
Yeah. I want one more on basketball. Eric Henderson, South Dakota State, been thrown around for, people might be interested in him. How serious do you think this might be?
I'd be really nervous if I was a Jacks fan. I don't have any inside information. I haven't talked to Hendo. But indications are that he's on their short list of candidates. I think it makes a lot of sense. I wouldn't be surprised if he goes.
Okay. I want to see how this rolls out. Okay, let's go to one more on the women's side. So you were there covering the game at UConn. I'm watching the first quarter. Hey, it's good. It's good. It's 8-2. Jacks are out and running. Then Paige Beckers doesn't miss. Then they just dominate. And I mean dominate. Is that gap now? The women's basketball gap is big. How big of a gap do you see from the top to the SDSUs that they'll make the tournament? Boy, it's really hard to compete with teams like UConn. How big is that gap?
It's a pretty big gap. I don't think you necessarily have to look at it like South Dakota State could never beat one of those teams. This was a 2-10 matchup. And a few years ago, when USD went to the Sweet 16, they beat a 2 when they were a 10. Now, it wasn't nearly as good as the UConn team we just saw, but it happened. I don't think this was the best team SDSU has ever had. And they did run into a UConn team that, will anyone be surprised if they win the national championship? I mean, they don't just look loaded. They look loaded and determined. I mean, the way Paige Beckers played, maybe if she'd had an off night and gone 7 for 20 from the floor or something, then maybe they only beat them by 20, instead of 35 or whatever it was. They're that good. And, it can't be a huge surprise. The Jacks played Texas this year and lost by 40.
Yeah.
They played South Carolina last year and lost by 40. That's kind of been the margin when they play teams like that. I think there's probably a scenario that exists. Like I said, maybe Paige Beckers just has an off night. Someone for the Jacks catches fire, or maybe they make it a game. Make it competitive. But I just don't think they're ready right now to compete with a UConn to get to a Final Four. But that's okay. I mean, they're a mid-major team. Mid-major teams have a ceiling, and I've said this a bunch of times in recent weeks. When SDSU first went Division I 20 years ago, nobody would have ever been disappointed with only making it to the round of 32, or disappointed with just making it to the tournament. We didn't know if SDSU basketball teams would ever make it to the NCAA tournament, and now the women have been to 13 of them, and the men have been to 6 or 7. I mean, I get how after a while it becomes a little bit routine, and you kind of start wanting more, and you should want more. You shouldn't. I don't think the answer is that SDSU just says, okay, we're happy just getting to the tournament. We don't ever care if we win a game. I'm not saying that, but you do have to recognize that you're South Dakota State. You're not Ohio State. You're not Michigan. You're not Minnesota. There's always going to be a ceiling on what you're trying to do, and Aaron Johnson deserves a ton of credit for pushing that ceiling higher and higher and higher, but there is still always going to be a ceiling.
Okay, you were at Pro Day. Let's switch to football before I let you run. A lot of people say, well, this South Dakota State team maybe not loaded with the pro prospects. We've seen some pros out of this program. What was your takeaway? Who are some guys that maybe you're getting looks?
There were several guys that competed today. The USD had their Pro Day too, and a couple guys that looked like performed well there. I don't think anyone out of South Dakota is getting drafted this year. I think even the top guys coming out of South Dakota this year are probably undrafted free agent type guys. Adam Bach, SDSU's linebacker, 4 or 5 year starter, captain, decorated everything. He had a pretty good day today, and I think, he had a very similar career to Christian Rosaboom, who was also not drafted, but is now in his 5th year in the NFL, was a starter for the Rams last year, finished in the top 20 in the NFL in tackles. He just signed with the Panthers. Jack Cochran came out of USD as an undrafted free agent linebacker. He's now in his 4th or 5th year with the Chiefs. I think that bodes real well for Adam, that he can follow that same path. He's a guy who, works his butt off, will compete on special teams. I think an NFL team will look at a guy like him and say, we can bring him in training camp, put him on our practice squad, he'll bust his ass and eventually be a contributor to the team. I think he's got a chance to do that. Dallas Beanham, SDSU's top cornerback, really good corner guy, was just an incredibly consistent, productive player. He ran really fast today. He was about 4.4 in his 40 time. I thought that was pretty good. He didn't do very well at all in the bench press and some of the other things, so that might ding him a little bit. Again, it'll come down to how he performs in a camp. Amar Johnson, their running back, I don't think Amar is quite as good as Isaiah Davis or Pierre Strong, but those two guys are both in the NFL, and Pierre was in the same backfield with them, and Amar had a really good day today at Pro Day. He ran a 4.4, did well in the agility drills, the vertical, all that kind of stuff. He was really happy with his numbers after the day. So, it's just one day, and scouts are always going to look at FCS guys a little differently. But I think with the recent history SDSU has and all the people that they've put into the NFL, and none of those guys have become busts. Every guy that's gone on to the NFL from SDSU has earned a spot. So I think that bodes well for them. They'll get into a camp. We'll see if they make it.
Yeah, I know measurables are one thing. I always say that. You need the measurables, but you got to be a player. I mean, it's an interesting scenario there. Matt Zimmer at Pro Day in Brookings for the Jacks, SiouxFallsLive.com for the coverage, and busy time covering hoops. Matt, appreciate it, man. Thanks a lot.
You bet, Nate. See ya.
Thanks a lot. Matt Zimmer on tonight, covering the Jacks, SiouxFallsLive.com, sports reporter live from Brookings. He just wrapped up Pro Day for the Jacks football players. Honestly, The measurables are one thing. I've said this a long time. You got to be this fast, you got to be this strong, you got to be able to jump this high, jump this far, the broad jump. I understand the measurables, but are you a football player? Are you a competitor? Are you tough? Are you a leader? The intangibles, okay? You know who didn't have, he wasn't accurate. He's not accurate. Yeah, I don't know if he can do that. I don't know how smart he is. He didn't pass the test. He didn't do this. That was Josh Allen. You remember that? His accuracy. I don't know. His release. This Wonderlic score. You better watch out. He's a player. Give me a break. So we'll see. We'll see where this comes. Jacks have had some pretty good football players last time I checked. All right. Coming right back with Ben Verlander, Fox Sports Major League Baseball analyst, on the show for the first time in a year. This is big time. Opening day tomorrow. Ben Verlander next.
This is South Dakota's Sports Talk.
There's nothing like it. Not for hundreds of miles in any direction. A gathering space for all kinds of people from all kinds of backgrounds. To share, to revel, to stand together and celebrate life's greatest moments.
We are number one, so you can always be their number one. Black Hills Surgical Hospital and Black Hills Orthopedic and Spine Center. The number one hospital in the nation for major orthopedic surgery.
Uh-oh, you have to open the old gliding door to the patio again, but that thing stopped gliding long ago. Did you know that your old, ugly, hard-to-open gliding door is probably the number one source of loss of heat in your home, and that broom handle lock is not secure? Renewal by Anderson's gliding patio doors are simply the best of the best, and Renewal has an incredible offer right now. Don't miss it. 20% off every door, plus no money down, no payments, no interest for 12 months. No payments until 26. Please book your free estimate right now at RBARapidCity.com and start gliding again.
Perfect spot to watch college basketball this season.
Hit that one from the parking lot.
Cheer on all your favorite teams in a comfortable lounge lined with wall-to-wall television arrays.
And that's it! What a comeback!
Seat packages include free play and dining credit to take your game day to the next level. Get yours today at tinlizzy.com. And don't miss a single moment of the NCAA basketball tournament at Tin Lizzy Gaming Resort.
Get away from it all in the great outdoors for lasting family memories with a new or pre-owned RV from Dakota Discount RV. We make your RV experience fun and easy by providing you with a quality recreational vehicle, competitive pricing, and professional sales and service. Our large inventory of fifth-wheelers, travel trailers, toy haulers, and live-in horse trailers allows us to save our customers thousands of dollars compared to most dealers. Stop by and see us at Dakota Discount RV, 3330 East Mall Drive across from Cabela's and on JB Road, Blackhawk.
Hi, this is David Brenneman with Coldwell Banker, Black Hills Legacy in Rapid City. Have you thought about buying a home or real estate in the Black Hills? Maybe you want to upgrade to your forever home? I have been helping people in the Black Hills find the right home for nearly 20 years. When it comes to buying or selling, experience matters. Let me do the work and you can open the door to your new home. Say hello to a good buy with me, David Brenneman. To get started, just Google David Brenneman, Coldwell Banker.
Ready to be part of something big? Meet the Rapid City Sports Commission, the powerhouse behind sports in Rapid City. The commission focuses on bringing regional and national tournaments, supporting homegrown events, and creating opportunities for our kids. But it's not just games, it's a win-win for all of us. Youth sports fuel our economy. Hosting events in Rapid City means out-of-town families shop, dine, and stay with us, which boosts sales tax revenues too. To get in on the action, visit rcsportscommission.com, where we're all about the hustle.
Live callers, big-time interviews, and breaking sports news. This is South Dakota's Sports Talk Show, The Nate Brown
Welcome back in South Dakota Sports Talk Show across the state. It's always a great day in South Dakota. We know that. Welcome back. The Nate Brown Show is live. Fox Sports Radio. Great guest lineup tonight. Mike Golic Jr. straight ahead. We'll hit on the latest NFL with Mike Golic Jr., college football NFL analyst. His show is Gojo and Golic. Well, we're glad to have him back. He's back. It's opening day tomorrow. Are you ready for opening day tomorrow, Major League Baseball? Ben Verlander is on. Download his podcast, Flippin' Bats. Okay? It's a great show. Great show. Fox Sports, Major League Baseball analyst Ben Verlander back on the Nate Brown Show, courtesy the Pizza Ranch Studio Hotline. Ben, welcome back in. How are you?
I'm doing great, Nate. Thanks for having me.
Appreciate your time. I just got a text here from a longtime listener. He said, Ben Verlander, he's back. I mean, you're ready. They're ready for you in South Dakota. So here we go. Let's go. Opening day tomorrow. You tell me, I've talked to you over the years, where Major League Baseball is at with Dodgers, Yankees, Shohei Ohtani, some of these big brands and the success we've seen this last year. Where's baseball at entering 2025 in the landscape of popularity?
Yeah, I think it's in a really good place. I mean, the numbers over the last few years, really since COVID and the new rule changes after that, I think have clearly done really well for the game of baseball. The superstars being in big markets does help the game overall. Judge being in New York, Shohei being in L.A. And, you know, I think in terms of those guys being there, the Dodgers still going to be very good this year. I mean, we don't have a problem in the sport with super teams until there is one. You know, there's no guarantee the Dodgers are going to win the World Series. There hasn't been a back-to-back champion since the Yankees in 2000. So I think we're heading into this year with a bunch of teams, probably, I don't know, a bunch of teams prepared and wanting to win the World Series, and I absolutely think that's able to happen this year. I don't think there's one team that you can chalk it up to victory. Obviously, the Dodgers are the best team in baseball heading into the year. That doesn't guarantee anything, but the game is thriving right now, and I love it.
Okay, let's think about this scenario now when it comes to owners and where they're at. Is it good that owners are spending like the Dodgers, the Mets? Some people say, well, that's good. They're invested, because there's other owners that aren't spending, and they're the ones that are saying, we need a salary cap here so we can all have an even playing field. Where's the right answer?
Yeah, you know, I think, look, it's obviously frustrating to hear that from the owners that aren't spending a lot of money perspective. They're the ones crying, well, we need a salary cap. This isn't fair. Well, look, let's look in the mirror here. And obviously I don't expect the Colorado Rockies to spend like the Los Angeles Dodgers, but they can do more. I don't expect the Pittsburgh Pirates to spend like the New York Yankees, but they can do something, do anything, but they're not. And that's where the problem comes into play. And when you have a team like the Pirates do with Skeens and Jones and Keller and a really good rotation, to not do anything, in my opinion, is unacceptable. So the real problem, if there's a problem to point to in the sport, it's owners that don't care about winning and just say, well, we're not going to win anyway, we might as well not even try. Well, you have a lot of owners that are coming in, and you can tell they clearly love the game of baseball, Steve Cohen being one of those. And I think you need more of those guys that love the game and want to put a winning product out on the field the best they can. I mean, look, we saw it last year with the Kansas City Royals. They went from losing over 100 games the year prior to going out, making a bunch of moves in the offseason and becoming a playoff team, and now having a MVP frontrunner on their team at shortstop. I mean, it doesn't take a ton. It's baseball. Anything can happen on any given night. So spend some money, get a good team on the field, and go from there. But I think the line lies somewhere much closer to the teams that are spending money. And, you know, I think maybe this new CBA will address the deferred money situation. That might be a talking point. But as far as teams going out and being like, look, I want to get better, there's no salary cap, let me go spend a bunch of money and get better. I absolutely all for that.
Ben Verlander joins us tonight, Fox Sports Major League Baseball analyst. He's covering opening day. He's made his predictions. You can find him at Ben Verlander on Twitter. So my Cubs get beat by the Dodgers in that series, and people say, well, the Cubs are going to be pretty good. Well, they didn't look great. You tell me, Ben, who's going to challenge the Dodgers in the National League? Are my Cubs in a category to do that?
Yeah, I wouldn't say I'm super high on the Cubs this year. I think they'll be a pretty good team. I think they'll certainly be towards the top of the NL Central, which is a weaker division in my opinion. So when I look at teams that are going to push the Dodgers and potentially beat the Dodgers come playoff time, I look at the teams in the NL East. I look at the Atlanta Braves. I look at the Philadelphia Phillies, the New York Mets. And then those teams in the NL West there with the Dodgers absolutely are good enough in my opinion as well. And Padres are going to be really good. Diamondbacks really good. Giants are going to be sneaky good this year, but I don't know if they'll be a playoff team. So, look, it's just about getting into the playoffs, and then in a 5-game series, you never know what can happen. So it's just about getting there. There are 3 to 4 teams that I absolutely think can beat the Dodgers in a series. And, Nate, I don't know if the Cubs are one of them.
Okay, who wins the NL Central then? Who's going to win the NL Central?
Yeah, I went out on a limb a little bit. I'm a believer in the Terry Francona bandwagon. I went with the Cincinnati Reds this year. I know it's a little bit out on a limb. I know the Cubs are the odds-on favorite to win the division, but I just really like that. Every time Terry Francona goes somewhere new, he gets the absolute best out of his team. First year in Boston in 2004, won the World Series. First year in Cleveland with a team that was well under 500 the year before he got there. He won 92 or 93 games with that team. So he has the ability to take a team and get the best out of them. And I think this Reds team, he's the perfect fit with, an MVP caliber player at shortstop in Elly De La Cruz and some exciting players, but young all the way around. I like their potential. Their ceiling is very high, in my opinion. Their floor is also quite low. You could tell me they win the division, and I'd say, yep, I had a feeling. That's what I picked. You could tell me they finish in 4th place in the NL Central, and I'd say, well, I'm not extremely shocked. So I have the Reds beating out the Cubs just barely in the NL Central, and each of those teams being on the cusp of a wild card spot, trying to grab one, but I don't know if they will.
Best chance my Cubs have had in quite some time, though, so I'll take it. We'll see where that's at. Opening day tomorrow, we're talking to Ben Verlander. Follow him at Ben Verlander. Great baseball podcast, Flippin' Bats, over the AL here. A lot of Twins fans around here. News from The Athletic. They're looking to sell. They might want $1.7 billion, and The Athletic reporting $425 million in debt. Over $425 million in debts for the Twins. What should we think about a Twins organization in that scenario?
Yeah, I always struggle when it comes to numbers and with front offices and teams, because baseball, with the way it is, it's the only sport that doesn't have a salary cap. There's obviously not a cap or a floor, and it's one of the only sports where you don't have to open up the books and show us exactly what's going on. So every time I hear that, I just don't. I don't know. Teams are really doing well these days. A lot of money is coming in for the game. So I don't know. But it's a very interesting scenario. I know the Twins are in an interesting spot where they have a talented team. They're not in the best division in the world, though. Those other teams and the Tigers, the Royals, the Guardians are all going to be pretty good. But the Twins have a good team, but they didn't add much in the offseason. So kind of a confusing situation going on there that I am certainly keeping an eye on in terms of what's going to happen with, are they going to sell, who's going to get it, and are they going to be interested in actually putting a good team out on the field.
By the way, AL Central, are the Tigers a team to watch there?
Yeah, I have the Tigers winning the AL Central. I am, admittedly a Tigers fan. I played in the organization for 5 years, but I would also say over the last few years of me being in this baseball media space that I've probably been one of their tougher critics. I want them to be good. I haven't been yet ready, even though the last couple of years Tigers fans have been mad at me for not picking them, saying they're ready, it's time, what a great rotation, and all that's true, but I haven't yet believed in the offense. I still wouldn't say I really believe in the offense, but nobody in the division really added much in the offseason. The Tigers at least went and got Gleyber Torres and added him in there and added some pieces on the mound and Jack Flaherty and Alex Cobb for some pitching depth. So I do have the Tigers winning. I think a lot of guys take a big step forward. I think Riley Green's a stud. I think Kerry Carpenter is really good in that lineup. So I'm excited about the Tigers for the first time in a long time. I don't know if they're going to be as good as they were down the stretch last year. They were incredible, but give me something in between what they were most of the year and what they were down the stretch. You put that over the course of 162, and I think they can win the division.
Ben Verlander has his predictions out before opening day tomorrow. Give me one more as I let you run. World Series matchup is who?
Oh, we're going right to the big stuff. Well, I had my as you mentioned, full season predictions came out today. My full season preview episode. I did do all 12 playoff teams up to the World Series, all award predictions. And my World Series matchup, I did have the Atlanta Braves and the Houston Astros in the wide open American League. And I do have the Atlanta Braves winning the World Series in 2025. So I think they're great. I think they match up very well with the Dodgers if you get into the playoffs, and if you do match up with them, give me Spencer Strider and Chris Sale at the top of a rotation. I'm high on Spencer Schwellenbach in that rotation. And the Braves lineup absolutely can compete with the Dodgers. It's an incredible lineup, 2 studs at the top of the rotation, a good closer in the back end. They are a complete team. With them, it's just about staying healthy. The Dodgers have more depth than anybody. You can't argue that. But if the Braves can find a way to manage their health, you always go through ups and downs throughout the year, but if they can manage their health and go into October healthy, certainly think they can beat the Dodgers, certainly think they can win the World Series. That's my prediction. 2025 full season preview episode just came out today. So if anybody wants to listen to that, it was a fun one for sure.
Check out his latest show. Great show. It's the baseball show you want to hit. Flippin' Bats. Follow him on Twitter at Ben Verlander, Fox Sports Major League Baseball analyst to preview the season. Man, we're off and running. Thanks for hopping on.
Of course. Thanks for having me, Nate.
Appreciate you. Ben Verlander on tonight on South Dakota Sports Talk Show, Fox Sports Major League Baseball analyst. His podcast, Flippin' Bats. If you don't have a baseball podcast you go to, that's the one. Great show. Find him online at Ben Verlander on X. All right? His prediction is Braves, Astros. Braves, Astros. I just got a listener text coming in. It's going to be Braves, Dodgers in the NL. A listener text, it could be Orioles, Rangers in the AL. Boy, wouldn't that be fun? No, anyway. Orioles, Rangers? Gotta have something, a little more juice. Give me a little more juice there. How about my Cubbies? They got a shot? Cubbies got a shot in the NL Central? Just give me a shot for one time. We haven't been good for quite some time. I got a listener text that's offering to bet me that the Cubs finish better than the Tigers or vice versa. His Tigers are going to finish with a better record than my Cubs, is what he's saying. Do I take that bet? I've been known to lose bets, so I'm going to think about that for a little while, okay? Opening day tomorrow. We only have 162 games to go. Coming right back on the Nate Brown Show, I do have an idea. I think we have to change this about college basketball. We have wasted hours of our time doing this. Would you agree with me that we can change this? Because they're going to look at it next.
This is the Nate Brown Show.
Hey, Sioux Falls sports fans, there's a great new sports bar in Sioux Falls, Boston's Restaurant and Sports Bar on West Russell Street in the Ramada Water Park Hotel. If you want to watch games, UFC, they've got it, wall-to-wall TVs, and the best part, great food. Gourmet pizza at Boston's, tons of wing options, great burgers, and a lot more. Bring the family, bring the team, bring your crew to the new Boston's Restaurant and Sports Bar in Sioux Falls on West Russell Street. Plus, you can order online for lunch or dinner. Just go to bostons.com.
Ace is the place with the helpful hardware, folks. Our locally owned Ace stores are committed to helping our neighbors and our communities. And because we're in the neighborhood, we can deliver almost anything you need. So shop in store or online for whatever your home or yard needs. Choose from top brands like Milwaukee, Stihl, Traeger, and Benjamin Moore. Then pick up in-store, curbside, or we'll deliver your order right to your home. Around the block, what you need in stock, with people who know how to help. See acehardware.com for details.
Shop the region's largest selection of spirits, wines, and beers at the best prices today at both Mr. Liquor locations in Rapid City. Save $7 on Screwball Peanut Butter Whiskey, now $23.99. 750 bottles of Jefferson Bourbon reduced $5, now just $29.99. Or take advantage of special pricing on Old Forester Whiskey Row Series Bourbon. Experience the new Mr. Liquor 2 next to Walmart off Catron, or the original location on the corner of West Chicago and Sturgis Road in Rapid City.
Here's your Fox Sports Rapid City forecast. Mainly clear skies tonight with the lows around 39. North winds 5 to 10 miles per hour. High of 76 tomorrow. Tomorrow night 51. High of 71 Friday with a slight chance of rain. Mixed precipitation likely changing to all snow 39 on Saturday. That's your forecast on the Black Hills Sports Station, Fox Sports Rapid City. Currently, it's 71 degrees.
March means big savings at Spearfish Motors. Save up to $6,250 on 2025 GMC Sierra Light Duty, or choose finance rates as low as 0.9% for 36 months. Save up to $2,750 on select GMC Sierra HDs. Plus, we've received truckloads of new GMC inventory. Check out a great selection of the all-new Acadia, Terrain, and Canyon. Hurry in today before the March savings drive away. Online always at spearfishmotors.com. GMC, we are professional grade.
Whether you run the race, make the catch, cast a line, pitch a tent, or just look good doing it, Shields Rapid City has your gear. From athletic clothing from your favorite team, cold weather gear to keep you warm, to the best camping selection this side of the Black Hills, and the most stylish and functional women's outerwear and footwear. Shields has the widest selection of the best brands in the business. So when you're ready to get out, get in the game, or get going, get to Shields. Shields, we're right there with you at Rushmore Crossing in Rapid City.
At Black Hills Federal Credit Union, we are committed to improving the lives of our members and bettering our communities. As your community credit union, we're here to get to know you and your unique needs. From extended service hours to the newest technology, we have you covered. Stop by any location to get started or text or call 605-718-1818. BHFCU is member-owned, not-for-profit, and federally insured by the NCUA.
You're listening to The Nate Brown Show, also streaming right now on X. Follow us and watch the show live at Nate Brown Show.
Back in, the Nate Brown Show is live every afternoon drive on Fox Sports Radio. It is South Dakota Sports Talk Show. Thanks for being a part of it. Join the conversation. The Pizza Ranch Studio Hotline, 605-720-1067. That's how you can be a part of the show there. Pizza Ranch Studio Hotline powered by the Pizza Ranch. 2 locations in Rapid City. Also at 3809 East 10th Street in Sioux Falls and in Brandon. That's the Pizza Ranch. Tonight, your favorite buffet, no doubt, locally owned and operated, Pizza Ranch. Hey, I've got a question for you guys. I got a question today. Do you like the instant replays at the end of these college basketball games? Do you like the instant replays at the end of these college basketball games? That's my question. I just want to know how you feel. Do you like the replay reviews at the end of college basketball games? Because what's the rule? What's the rule? If you're watching games like me over the last week here, you're seeing so many replay reviews. Every time the ball gets tipped and this and that in the final 2 minutes, the officials get told to review it. I mean, I don't know how long this is. This has taken hours of our lives. I mean, I'm sitting here waiting to watch the last 2 minutes of a game. Here's a stat for you. The last 2 minutes of Vanderbilt, Texas A&M at the end of the SEC season, the last 2 minutes of Vanderbilt, Texas A&M took 36 minutes. The last 2 minutes of the game, because it was constant replays. So we're in this time in sports where we have to have the replay because we have to get it right? We have to have the replay because we have to get it right. But can we shift how we do the replays? I know everybody hates the NBA. I know you can't do anything the NBA does. They've got it right. They let you challenge it, and if you're right, you get another challenge. But you don't have constant replay reviews. We can't do this. College basketball has to change this. Thanks for calling. You're live, and you go ahead.
Yeah, it's ridiculous how these games last so long. They look at a play, and you can clearly see it on the replay, and yet they're still looking at it 5 minutes later.
Yes, I'm with you. I'm like, hey, we've seen it. Can we move on? By the way, right. and then 30 seconds later, we'll have another one, honestly.
Yeah, right.
No, I'm with you. I appreciate you getting on. We have to all agree on this, right? Can we agree on can we all agree on something? Do we like the constant replays at the end of college basketball games? Why do I bring that up today? Okay, they are meeting next, in May, okay? The NCAA Rules Committee is meeting in May. They're going to discuss how they should change the replay reviews. So what they're thinking about doing is what the NIT is actually testing this year. So this is some stuff behind the scenes you may have not seen. The NIT is testing the challenge system this year. And I admit, I don't watch the NIT hardly at all. It's going to be a slow night in the Brown household to watch the NIT. But they are testing it this year, a challenge system where it's no longer the officials reviewing everything inside of 2 minutes. You're going to have a coach challenge. There's one per game. Unless you get it right, then you get a second. Okay? So that's how the system's going to work in the NIT. I'm just surprised it's taken this long because we've had this replay review going on for the last, few years at least. And, I mean, they go down to, did it touch his pinky? Let's take a look. Well, it touched his pinky, but then it went off of his fingernail. Oh, it's off of him. Let's take a look at that again. Well, did it hit his fingernail? I'm not sure. I mean, it's just, we just can't have it constant. I mean, these games take forever and a day. The Wall Street Journal just did a calculation. It said just here in the tournament, it's already been hours. I mean, that's wild. Extended. So you're turning 2 minutes into a ton of time. Vanderbilt, Texas A&M, last 2 minutes of their game, 36 minutes. So no wonder it adds up to hours. Let's throw that out. 605-720-1067. Barron's Wilson text line. Listener text, the reviews in the college game last longer than a whole quarter of the game. It can be that way. I mean, it just takes the momentum out of a really good game. You're watching an intense game. It's back and forth. It's up and down basketball. I love it. It's my sport. And then we're going to every single replay review. Out of bounds. Oh, replay it, review it. Challenge system. It's really easy. Really easy. So would you go to the challenge, one challenge, unless you get it right, or just keep the replay reviews? You have to get these calls right. I mean, I do hear that a lot. Well, we got to get the calls right. So we just want to keep on reviewing it the last 2 minutes, nonstop. Listener text, I cannot believe there is any interest in not getting it right. My goodness. but you want to just keep this thing going nonstop, do a challenge system. Here's the thing. Refs are going to miss some stuff. I mean, it's just going to happen, and we live in this world now where we think we have to litigate every single play. We got to make sure that every pitch is absolutely a centimeter in the strike zone, and if we get it wrong tomorrow on opening day, everybody's going to complain. If the ump gets it wrong by a centimeter, we want to challenge in baseball and slow that game down. I think it's okay, guys, to do the challenge system. I hope college changes that. So they're going to meet this May, and they are going to talk about going to a challenge system to adopt how the NIT is testing it out this year. And so they might change this, the rules committee. I hope they do this year. Change the replay reviews constant in the final 2 minutes of a college basketball game on the women's side and men's side. I mean, it's just unbelievable. 69% of you are voting to limit to a challenge system for the replay reviews on my question of the day. 69% limit to a challenge. 31% say unlimited replay reviews, have to get it right. Oh, boy. I wonder what Matt Kearney would say on this one. The producer of the Nate Brown Show. I'd love to hear his commentary. I'll tell you about it, okay? He's always on an interesting side. Coming right back, 5 questions from Chris, our loyal listener. Chris, are you ready? I've got 5 answers as we start the second hour. Mike Golick Jr. is on tap as well. Hang on.
This is South Dakota's Sports Talk Show.
There's nothing like it. Not for hundreds of miles in any direction. A gathering space for all kinds of people from all kinds of backgrounds. To share, to revel, to stand together and celebrate life's greatest moments.
We are number one. So you can always be their number one. Black Hills Surgical Hospital and Black Hills Orthopedic and Spine Center. The number one hospital in the nation for major orthopedic surgery.
Uh-oh, you have to open the old gliding door to the patio again, but that thing stopped gliding long ago. Did you know that your old, ugly, hard-to-open gliding door is probably the number one source of loss of heat in your home, and that broom handle lock is not secure? Renewal by Anderson's gliding patio doors are simply the best of the best, and Renewal has an incredible offer right now. Don't miss it. 20% off every door, plus no money down, no payments, no interest for 12 months. No payments until 26. Please book your free estimate right now at RBARapidCity.com and start gliding again.
Black Hills Sports Station, 106.7 FM and 1150 AM. Fox Sports Rapid City.
Hi, it's Nate Brown for Black Hills Community Bank. If you run your own company or you're looking to start a small business here in the Black Hills, you want to make sure you choose the right banking partner, and I know the right choice for business is Black Hills Community Bank. They have plenty of banking options to suit your specific needs, and Black Hills Community Bank is here to help business owners thrive and to make sure you have the support and tools to help your business grow. Just contact one of their business loan experts today or visit bhcbank.com. Member FDIC.
Collins Siding has been the region's premier window siding door and gutter installation specialist since 1974. They use only the highest quality materials and never compromise on their workmanship. Collins Siding is licensed, bonded, and their estimates always include labor, materials, and applicable permits and taxes. Collins Siding has been providing top quality service and exceeding high standards for over 45 years, and you can find out how by visiting them at 2016 Cherry Avenue. Collins Siding, 2016 Cherry Avenue, Rapid City.
Who is it?
You're Prince Charming.
Oh, hi.
Oh, hi.
Hi.
I've been calling to you, Rapunzel. Rapunzel, let down your golden hair for days.
I didn't hear you. The witch got the tower new replacement windows from Renewal by Anderson.
Didn't you wonder where I was?
Not really. My new windows are very energy efficient, keeping my tower very comfortable, and they have greatly reduced the noise levels.
What noise? You live in a forest.
Well, a certain needy prince is constantly yelling my name.
Do you not love me anymore?
Oh, quit being so dramatic.
Dramatic? Moi?
Yes, and Renewal by Andersen exclusively offers gorgeous ensemble security doors, safe and durable.
Do they?
You should get them for the castle along with new Acclaim replacement windows.
If I do, will you marry me?
Let's not rush it. And Prince Charming, get the windows for you, not me.
Oh, wait. Windows. For me?
Does your castle need new windows? Discover Acclaim windows and ensemble entry doors, custom fit and exclusive to Renewal by Andersen. Free consultations. Visit RBARapidCity.com.
One more time.
This is the Nate Brown Show. From the biggest national names to the hottest stories across South Dakota. Welcome to the Nate Brown Show. Here's your host, Nate Brown.
One more time.
Welcome back in. The Nate Brown Show is on Fox Sports Radio. Wednesday edition of the program. Second hour ready. And what's on tap in the second hour? Brought to you by the new Campfire Bar at Mr. Liquor in Rapid City. It's the best and biggest liquor store in South Dakota, just off Catron Boulevard. And they have a campfire bar right inside. Check out live sports. All the games are going to be on this week. Sweet 16 starts tomorrow. Check out 20 local brews on tap at the new Campfire Bar at Mr. Liquor, just off Catron Boulevard, South Dakota's best and biggest liquor store. Selection unlike any other. What's on tap on the Nate Brown Show? Mike Golick Jr., hang tight. Gojo and Golick is his show. NFL college football analyst Mike Golick Jr., great guest. He's on the way talking ball. And Cody Tucker's in tonight, covers the Mountain West for 7220sports.com. And the Wyoming Cowboys. What's the headline out of Wyoming basketball with Sundance Wicks? It's a big headline, and it just tells you where we're at in mid programs right now when it comes to this transfer portal. Cody Tucker's on tap, talking Mountain West straight ahead. You know what time it is on a Wednesday. You know what we got to do right now.
It's time for 5 questions from Chris on the Nate Brown Show.
Chris, how we doing tonight? You going to serve it up tonight? Our loyal listener, Chris, sends me 5 questions every week. He gets his own segment. It's a dandy. 5 questions from Chris. You got them? I'm ready. Question 1. Nate, opening day, baseball tomorrow. Do you think there's any rule that Major League Baseball could come out with that would help pitchers from blowing out their arms? Pitcher injuries have gone up exponentially in the past 20 years. Do you think MLB could limit the amount of balls thrown in a game over 99 miles an hour? Well, Chris, you have some interesting thoughts. I don't think they would ever think about that. They're trying to. So it's like the NFL. The NFL wants to say we fixed the kickoffs, so it's okay. Nobody's going to get a concussion. It's fine. They want you to. We're so concerned about the players. We just want them to be safe. It's a business. It's baseball. It's football. They won't limit pitch velocity. I don't see that at all. It is a factor. You got to throw gas these days, and pitchers are going down left and right. Major League Baseball's, I don't think they're going to do anything about it. Question number 2. With MLB and ESPN ending their 40-year broadcasting partnership, now MLB wants as many media partners as possible. They have over 5,000 regular season baseball games to broadcast. Is it better for MLB to go with 2 big broadcasting partners or spread it out and put games across 4 more media outlets? Well, here's how I see the media coverage if you're Major League Baseball. I think it was bad that you lost ESPN. Sunday night baseball was kind of a thing. Wednesday night, I mean, you had some good stuff there. So that's a bad loss. They think they're going to be able to do the streamers, and we're going to do streaming, and we're going to get money for that. I want this available and accessible for the casual sports fan on network TV. So you better get a deal done with NBC or something like that. If you're going to drop ESPN, and not just Peacock, not just the streaming stuff. So I think baseball's going to try and do the streaming a little bit more. It's not the NFL. I want to be on network TV. Even the NFL is on that. That's why so many people are able to watch it. So I think they would be best to be spread out a little bit, but try and get on some huge, huge networks. Question number 3, 5 questions from Chris tonight. A few years back, there were a couple of head coaches of men's basketball calling for the Power 4 schools to split off and do their own type of tournament. If the Power 4 teams would split away from the NCAA and do their own tournament, do you think those teams would generate more money in a media deal, or do you think the current NCAA tournament structure would get the most media payout? Well, that's interesting. So, Chris, you're asking if the big boys did their own tournament, it's just the big conferences, their own tournament, would they get a huge payday, or do you think it's a bigger deal now? They get $1 billion a year from CBS with the mid-majors added in with the big dogs. The structure now is the best. I still believe the fans, like you, want to see some upsets. We don't have to see it across the board, but we want to see who can knock off who. That is the first week of March Madness. That's the type of tournament I still believe is the biggest payout and the most popular. We'll see where that goes. Question number 4. Nate, do you think the 4 major North American pro leagues will not have large capacity arenas or stadiums in the future for fans to watch games? Will they scale back? With media deals, that's where they get all of their money. They don't need to fill the stadium for ticket sales and merchandising. Well, I still think, Chris, I know I'm old-fashioned, but I still think people in big markets go to games. Major League Baseball had great attendance last year, great attendance across the board. So I think people love going to games. Baseball is a family thing. You go and grab some dogs and chill. NBA capacity is really good in those markets, so I think the big stadiums are still a factor. I understand they get a big dollar amount from the media deals, but I think they still are going to pack stadiums. I believe that. Question number 5. 5 questions from Chris. Nate, do you think there's a possibility that one of the 3 leagues in America, not named the NFL, could fall from the minds of the casual sports fan? NHL, NBA, MLB. No, I don't think so. People talk about soccer's getting popular and it's growing. It is. Kids love it. It's popular amongst the youth, and we've been waiting for that since the 90s. More people are playing it, so then they're going to watch it. The big leagues in American sports, I don't see anybody falling out of the big leagues. NHL, NBA, MLB, NFL is king. And those other 3 are here to stay. Nobody surpasses them. WNBA's getting some juice there with Caitlin Clark. So keep in mind, WNBA, Caitlin Clark, that's the needle that might break in here. That's a summer sport that really had a good run in the first year. I expect that to maybe break in a little bit, but nobody's going to fall off. 5 questions from Chris. That's it. Mike Golick Jr. live next.
This is South Dakota's Sports Talk Show.
There's nothing like it. Not for hundreds of miles in any direction. A gathering space for all kinds of people from all kinds of backgrounds. To share, to revel, to stand together and celebrate life's greatest moments.
We are number 1. So you can always be their number 1. Black Hills Surgical Hospital and Black Hills Orthopedic and Spine Center. The number 1 hospital in the nation for major orthopedic surgery.
Oh, know you have to open the old gliding door to the patio again, but that thing stopped gliding long ago. Did you know that your old, ugly, hard-to-open gliding door is probably the #1 source of loss of heat in your home, and that broom handle lock is not secure? Renewal by Anderson's gliding patio doors are simply the best of the best, and Renewal has an incredible offer right now. Don't miss it. 20% off every door, plus no money down, no payments, no interest for 12 months. No payments until 26. Please book your free estimate right now at RBARapidCity.com and start gliding again.
Or a Joe, a weekend warrior, or a gardening great. Monument Health Orthopedics and Sports Medicine is here when you need us. Nobody plans an injury, but when people throughout the Black Hills and beyond suffer a setback, Monument Health Orthopedics is here to provide comprehensive medical care. Our team of board-certified orthopedic surgeons and specialists is dedicated to helping patients regain the quality of life they've lost due to an injury, arthritis, or joint wear and tear. Monument Health Orthopedics and Sports Medicine for everyday athletes like you.
Here's your Fox Sports Rapid City forecast. Mainly clear skies tonight with the lows around 39. North winds 5 to 10 miles per hour. High of 76 tomorrow. Tomorrow night 51. High of 71 Friday with a slight chance of rain. Mixed precipitation likely changing to all snow 39 on Saturday. That's your forecast on the Black Hills Sports Station, Fox Sports Rapid City. Currently 69.
Find your fortune and fall for big wins during the Love and Luck promotion at Cadillac Jack's Gaming Resort. Join us every Friday and Saturday night from 8 p.m. to midnight for prize drawings that grow bigger each hour. Then, don't miss the grand prize event on Saturday, March 29th, where 10 lucky winners will take home prizes ranging from $500 to $5,000. Let Love and Luck bring you big wins and even bigger thrills. Only at Cadillac Jack's Gaming Resort in Deadwood. How will your night play out?
At Black Hills Federal Credit Union, we are committed to improving the lives of our members and bettering our communities. As your community credit union, we're here to get to know you and your unique needs. From extended service hours to the newest technology, we have you covered. Stop by any location to get started or text or call 605-718-1818. BHFCU is member-owned, not-for-profit, and federally insured by the NCUA.
Your sports, your show. From East River to West River, this is South Dakota's sports talk show, The Nate Brown Show.
Welcome back in the Nate Brown Show live, Fox Sports Radio. Glad you're a part of the program. Second hour rolling tonight. We are live every afternoon on X. Follow the show and watch us live on X right now at Nate Brown Show. If you miss parts of the show, you don't catch the first hour, maybe you miss some of the guests. We don't repeat guests, record stuff and play it back, trying to give you new content each segment. So go to the Nate Brown Show podcast. Every guest is there. Every segment is there. Search the Nate Brown Show wherever you get your podcasts. We're on all of the platforms, Apple, Spotify, Amazon, wherever you get it. Search the Nate Brown Show. We had Ben Verlander in, a Major League Baseball preview from the Fox Sports MLB analyst. Let's talk some football, talk some ball. A little college basketball, too. I want to get Mike Golick Jr.'s take on this. Mike Golick Jr.'s in tonight. His show on DraftKings, Gojo and Golick, and he's on the Nate Brown Show. Mike, welcome back on. How are you?
Doing well. How you doing, Nate?
Doing good, man. I got a couple of questions on the basketball front for you. So, you tell me, my question of the day, do we like the constant replay reviews at the end of college basketball games? Unlimited replay reviews in the final 2 minutes. The NCAA Rules Committee is going to look at changing that. What do you say?
Oh, I mean, has anyone in the history of watching sports liked excessive replay reviews? I'd like to meet that just incredibly unique individual. No, listen, I think right now, every sport's at an interesting crossroads, and some are doing it better than others, of understanding that replay review for certain important elements of games is vital. There are too many cameras on anything. It's as much to benefit the officials and the players as it is the audience and the fans at home, but also trying to weave that through line of, hey, listen, a lot of these games already take a long time. We've been reckoning in a ton of sports with how to try to shorten games, and we've gone as far as we can with a lot of the rules of the gameplay without altering that too much. And so the next logical place, besides advertising, which they'll never touch because it makes the money, is to look at how more efficiently we can use technology to get to these games. And so I think we've seen this for the NFL, college football, expedited reviews coming anywhere, and I think this is the next logical step for the sport, too.
Okay, so NBA goes this way, Mike. They say one challenge from the coach, and if they get it right, they get another one. That's what they're testing out in the NIT this year. Is that a good system? The coach challenge in the NBA, would that work?
Yeah, I think so. Again, college sports are always fascinating to me because there's this incredible tension between them and the pro version of their sport. And quite honestly, college basketball might have the most absurd version of this, where even sticking with halves, being the only version of competitive basketball at a high level that uses halves instead of quarters is the ultimate hubris, and we're not like the pro game. And so there's a lot of value to be derived from, hey, there's already a league that does this at a really high level, has made billions of dollars on being a great television product that people want to watch. And so, yeah, I have no problem with them testing out things like that. I think college, especially as the landscape is changing to become more professional in the financial model, probably also needs to look at the competitive model in some areas that it can be better.
Okay, before we get to the football stuff, your wheelhouse, Mike Golic Jr. on tonight. His show is Gojo and Golic with his dad. Great show on DraftKings. Transfer portal opened up this week. Similar to how it went in college football, it opens up before the end of the season. We got players jumping in and the whole thing. We got the tournament still going on, and the portal opens up. You're a player advocate, but why do we do this timing? What's the deal?
That's the part that for basketball I'm less sure of, because with football I know part of the thing that's been positive people that use the calendar has been, well, the semesters start at a certain time with a lot of these schools, a lot of them that are on their semester systems. You're already dealing with a longer season, and so you've got to give these guys an opportunity to move before classes get in session, because in theory this whole system has still been tied to academics. I don't know what the same sell is for the spring transfer window, especially when it comes to a sport like basketball that is in the midst of its season, and then the next cliff is graduation. It's the off season, and so I would need a basketball person to kind of give me a little bit more inside baseball look at why their calendar would demand that, because I think J.J. Watt's the one that said it best. Even if you can't get them to do this for the benefit of the players, to your point, I'm always going to be the player advocate. Sometimes you got to speak the love language of the people involved, and these people like money. All the people staging sports right now in college really like money. And so the thing that J.J. Watt offered that I think is the most coherent advice is, hey, no sport would waste all of these valuable parts of its calendar in one area. The NFL would never put free agency in the middle of Wild Card Weekend was the example that he used, and I think that's appropriate here. If you're college basketball, college football, put your player acquisition phase in its own separate area, so like the NFL, you can turn this into year-round content and year-round interest for your sport in a way that gets cannibalized right now, and, oh, by the way, is deeply unfair to the players and coaches involved.
Mike Golic Jr. on tonight. Gojo and Golic is the show. Watch it every day. Find him on Twitter at Mike Golic Jr. Appreciate his time. Let's go football. Russell Wilson goes to the Giants. What do you say about that fit? They're not going to, win the whole thing, but Russell Wilson with the Giants, do you like the fit?
Sure. Russ is a capable enough veteran quarterback going to a really imperfect still roster. I mean, Malik Neighbors in that acquisition last year definitely makes everything more appealing for them in terms of a quarterback coming in at least have something to point to, but Daniel Jones got hit a lot still, and that's part of the reason he's not there was because of what happened to him under the constant pressure that they couldn't mitigate outside of Andrew Thomas and what he turned into at left tackle for them, which is an all-pro caliber player when he's healthy. And so I think there's still questions there. Russ is someone you have to run a very specific type of offense with now because of the way his skill set has aged, and so it still limits you. It's the one of the few moves left on the table for both parties, right? The Giants and Russell Wilson were both the fourth guy picked on the dodgeball team at recess. And so at some point you're going to go with the one that wants you, and both of these parties kind of looked around and said, well, we weren't going to get Aaron Rodgers. We weren't going to get any of the other Sam Darnold marquee quarterbacks of the offseason. And in the draft, we're not super well positioned either relative to the very few quarterback prospects people like at the top. And so this is kind of the only move on the table for them, and it's one that does not, I think, drastically increase or decrease the likelihood of Joe Schoen and Brian Daboll retaining their jobs.
Let's go to the Vikings, Mike. They had a press conference today with their GM, Kwesi Adolfo-Mensah. He said Kevin O'Connell had a lot of conversations with Aaron Rodgers, a lot of conversations. Then they said the outcome we wanted was J.J. McCarthy to be our starting quarterback. That's the outcome we want. So how do you think that played out? How risky is it to roll with J.J., no football under his belt?
Yeah, I do think that's also interesting to try and position it now like, hey, we had a lot of conversations with this guy, but we wanted it to be J.J. It's like, all right, if you really wanted that, you wouldn't have been worried enough to even go kick the can. And I get you always take the call, you always take the meeting, all the axioms that apply to other places in life. But listen, there's no doubt it is a risk. And this was... I'm not comparing him to Patrick Mahomes, but the sort of risk that Andy Reid and the Chiefs took, not only when they drafted Patrick Mahomes, but when they said, hey, we're going to put him out there instead of this guy Alex Smith that's been a pretty proven commodity in the league and with this team and organization, and the rest is history. You really got to know your guy and have confidence not only in him, but in Kevin O'Connell, which they should. He's been great. And so there is the tension, though, of, hey, the NFC North right now is wide open. You saw last year what this roster could do for a quarterback in Sam Darnold and what it could, in theory, do with someone else. And if you feel like you're in that Super Bowl window, to have a guy in Aaron Rodgers who's still on one of his worst seasons through like the third most touchdown passes in a Jet single season in their history, I get it wasn't great in a lot of other numbers overall, but by the end of the season, you could start to see the picture a little more. I'm sure part of them said, we're a team closer to the prize than we are further from it. Maybe a veteran hand helps us. And so that does, I'm sure, make them nervous inside because there's always going to be some built-in risk with a player like J.J. that hasn't played yet.
Vikings went on a $300 million offseason spending spree here, and they said, well, we're getting a team around J.J. that can be a good team with him. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. It's what every team should do. And I think, again, the baseline and the thing that makes them unlike a few other teams in the NFL is they've got a play caller that's a legitimate weapon. The way that Sean McVay and the Rams had, the way that Ben Johnson will be with the Bears, and the way he was with the Detroit Lions, where he is a clear value add in the way that he not only structures and builds the offense, but the way he calls plays on game day as well. We saw that last year, and every team should be building a more hospitable environment. We're so obsessed in football culture with this quarterback that lifts everyone else up by their bootstraps and makes the whole team better. There's like 3 of those guys that exist in the world at any given time. And so for everyone else, it needs to be doing exactly what they've done. Let's identify our weaknesses. In their case, it was interior offensive line. Let's go and spend and make sure that this is a place that, combined with the play calling, can give our young guy the options until, like Josh Allen and like other players that we've seen truly develop at the NFL level before, they can grow into and develop the good habits early on that'll make them a successful quarterback that can eventually be a guy that's more of a value add, that's the rising tide that lifts all ships, than he is along for the ride.
Last one, Mike Golic Jr. on tonight. What's your gut say about Aaron Rodgers? It's like the Steelers or nothing, I guess. Is he a Steeler when it comes down to it?
Yeah, I think so. I think kind of like we talked about with the Giants, like the Steelers, even if they won't say it out loud, I know that, Cam Hayward's come out and been vocally supportive of Mason Rudolph, and that organization has familiarity to him. If I was a fan, I don't know how I would come to the stadium this season if that's what you told me our answer was at quarterback, while we feel like we've been caught in this hamster wheel where we're a wild card team every year that can't win in the postseason. You've got to do something to show this team, and unless you get a Shedeur Sanders falling in the draft, and you're able to go get him there, there's not really a readily available answer for you because you're too good to ever be that high in the draft. And so I think Aaron Rodgers, if you over-index on what he looked like at the end of last season and say, hey, he's another year removed from the Achilles injury, maybe you can get more of the good than the bad, it's at least a coherent adult in the room at the position, even if he's not going to be the MVP from a few seasons ago, probably ever again in his career.
Mike Golic Jr., how's the bracket, man? Are you good? Are you sitting good? Who do we got?
I'm right in the middle of the pack. Without the upsets this year, I think I kind of went a little crazy with the upsets because that's what we've been used to. And now all of a sudden we're in the Sweet 16 on the men's side, and we got 4 conferences represented. So the chalk winning out this year, I think, has kept all of us in the middle of the pack, me and Dad included. But I have my champion still alive. I ended up going with the Duke Blue Devils, and my sheet of integrity, as my dad would say. And so I've got them alive. I've got most of my Final Four in play because, like everyone else, I said, hey, the SEC seems pretty good at basketball and rode with it.
Mike Golic Jr. Watch his show, Gojo and Golic, DraftKings Network. He's on Twitter at Mike Golic Jr. Always appreciate the time. Thanks a lot.
Thanks, Nate. Appreciate you.
Appreciate your time. Mike Golic Jr. in. Good to have him in the afternoon drive on Fox Sports Radio here on the Nate Brown Show, one of our favorites, great football analyst, and he's got Duke still alive, his champion in his bracket. My championship matchups, Duke-Auburn. I'm a Duke fan. You guys know this, right? I'm not annoying. I'm a Dookie. I'm not that annoying of a Dookie, but I took Auburn to beat Duke in my sheet of integrity. I took Auburn to beat Duke. I'm not feeling great about that right now. I thought Auburn had the most talent, but then they're just inconsistent. They're inconsistent, and Duke is a model of consistency defensively. So I got Duke-Auburn. I should have flipped that like my daughter always does. She switches it around. She thinks she's tricky. She switches it around. We do a family bracket, and all of a sudden I see this erased and that erased. What are you doing? You got to have some integrity here. Where does she learn this from? All right. Listener text coming in. Let's see. I asked you, do we like the instant replay reviews, how college basketball does it now? It's unlimited instant replay reviews in the final 2 minutes. You see everybody, go to the monitor, It went off of him. Do we think that needs to change? Listener text. There's too much minutia in reviewing out-of-bounds calls in the last 2 minutes. Replay was adopted to overturn obvious calls. If you can't conclude anything within the short time frame, then the call on the floor should stand. Okay? Listener text. Network TV loves the reviews. More ads to sell. That could be. Let's see. What's the vote on this? Instant replay reviews in college basketball. Do you think it should go to a one-challenge system? And what I mean by that is you get one challenge, and then if you get it right, you get another one. That's how the NBA does it. Are you okay with that? That's what I would like. 68% of you say yes, go to the one-challenge system. 32% of you say keep it as it is, unlimited instant replay reviews. Listener response. As a fan, I get tired of the reviews, but if you sit close to the court, so many calls are questionable, especially out-of-bounds calls. So he wants the reviews. He said as a fan he doesn't like the reviews, but he still wants the reviews. All right. Let's go to the Mountain West. What do we have to discuss here? Well, the Wyoming Cowboys head coach is Sundance Wicks on men's basketball. I have a little story here for you. How many players does Sundance Wicks have left on his team right now? The season just ended. How many players does he have left? We'll talk to Cody Tucker, covers the Mountain West and Wyoming for 7220 Sports next.
This is the Nate Brown.
There's nothing like it. Not for hundreds of miles in any direction. A gathering space for all kinds of people from all kinds of backgrounds. To share, to revel, to stand together and celebrate life's greatest moments.
We are number one. So you can always be their number one. Black Hills Surgical Hospital and Black Hills Orthopedic and Spine Center. The number one hospital in the nation for major orthopedic surgery.
Uh-oh, you have to open the old gliding door to the patio again, but that thing stopped gliding long ago. Did you know that your old, ugly, hard-to-open gliding door is probably the number one source of loss of heat in your home, and that broom handle lock is not secure? Renewal by Anderson's gliding patio doors are simply the best of the best, and Renewal has an incredible offer right now. Don't miss it. 20% off every door, plus no money down, no payments, no interest for 12 months. No payments until 26. Please book your free estimate right now at RBARapidCity.com and start gliding again.
Incredible savings at Spearfish Cadillac. We're closing out our remaining 2024 Cadillac models, and now's your chance to drive home sophistication for less. Get $4,800 off the stylish XT4, $5,100 off the refined XT5, or $6,300 off the spacious XT6. Want an all-electric luxury? Save up to $9,200 off the stunning Cadillac Lyriq. 2024 stock is limited, so these deals won't last. Visit us online at SpearfishCadillac.com.
Hi, I'm Bill at Wire for USA. If you're looking for internet, TV, security systems, or cell booster systems, why would you look at a company that only gives you one choice for each of these systems? Wire for USA offers it all. Viasat, Hughes, CenturyLink, Dish TV, DirecTV, Wilson cell booster systems, and now Starlink and Equistar internet systems. Starlink and Equistar are the newest, the fastest, and the strongest satellite internet made. No limit, no contract. Wire for USA has it. Call 605-341-5361. Whatever your home or business needs are, call Wire for USA for the products and the service. You don't need training wheels with our system. Connect to the future with Wire for USA at 605-341-5361. We are hometown, we are South Dakota, and we do appreciate your business. 605-341-5361. See us at our new location, 710 North La Crosse Street in Rapid City.
Great news. I just got the State Farm personal price plan on our home and auto insurance.
You told our agent about my thing for romance novels?
No, you don't have to get that personal. Our agent just helped me choose affordable options to create a personalized price just for us.
Oh, sweet. Then you won't believe the love triangle Jen is in now.
Contact me, State Farm agent Scott Carlson, to create your personal price plan today.
Prices vary by state. Options selected by customer. Availability and eligibility may vary.
From high school to college to the pros, from Rapid City to Sioux Falls, the Nate Brown Show is South Dakota's sports talk show.
Welcome back. How are you? Great day across the state. South Dakota Sports Talk Show is live on Fox Sports Radio. The Nate Brown Show packed tonight. Look at the guest lineup tonight. Matt Zimmer in tonight from Sioux Falls Live. Ben Verlander back on the show, Fox Sports Major League Baseball analyst, opening day tomorrow. Mike Golick Jr. just moments ago. And now we go to the Mountain West. Cody Tucker covers the Mountain West and the Wyoming Cowboys. 7220sports.com. Transfer portal is wide open. Something I've heard. Started on Monday. He's back on the Nate Brown Show. Cody, good to have you. How are you?
Oh, doing good, man. These Wyoming Cowboys are keeping me busy. Spring football, and then, of course, like you said, the basketball portal is wide open for business.
I know, and this is the discussion I want to have with you. So, we cover mid-majors, and I'm really interested in SDSU and USD over on this side, and I've got the history with Wyoming, and they're bigger, but they're still not top tier Power 4. So these programs are all similar. They can have some great players, and then they lose great players. And so I know there's a philosophy. Do we build with the transfer portal? Does it work both ways? Is that how we do this? Do we develop high school guys and develop them and just maybe have them a year or two, and then, maybe they go to the Big Ten? How do you play this out if you're Sundance Wicks?
Great question, Nate. I think, you need a lot of quick fixes right now. He did get 3 kids out of the high school ranks, and like football, it's still a development program. But, man, you're taking on teams that are just loaded with guys who have all kinds of experience, and, you just can't match experience. It's tough to go with nothing but freshmen. But also, I tell you, something that's really hurting around here is trying to get people to go to basketball and trying to get people excited about basketball. This is the 3rd straight season that the entire roster has turned over. They have 2 guys remaining right now that are on scholarship. And you know how it is, man. It's hard enough to get to Laramie in the winter. It's really hard, and you don't even want to go when you don't even know the guys on the team. And that's what it's been year in and year out. And, of course, you know, a few years ago when they made the NCAA tournament, they had some dudes, and they brought them all back, and they were all ready to run it back, and things looked good. And one injury happened, and the dominoes fell, and not one of those guys remains. So it's brutal. New Mexico, I would argue, is getting hammered worse than anybody right now, both football and basketball. And San Diego State's starting to see how the other half lives. And it's just tough sledding right now, man. It's I don't know that there's an answer for it, but this ain't it.
Okay, so I just saw your story at 7220sports.com. We're talking to Cody Tucker from Wyoming. 2 players remain, 2 scholarship players remain on the entire team. I mean, it just started Monday. 2 guys left.
Yeah. Well, and it's honestly, Nate, it's nothing new around here. And then on the flip side, you got to ask yourself, all right, so 6 guys are now in the portal. One of those guys averaged 18 points a game. The other 5 were really not a big factor, and they won 12 whole games last year. So you want to give a big fat NIL check, if you can even be in the market, to an Obi Agbum who netted 18 last year. And do you want any of these guys back anyway? And I think the other thing we forget about way too often, who knows if Sundance Wicks might have told these guys to hit the bricks. And I don't think we think of that enough. We think guys are just leaving to go somewhere bigger and better and make money. And there's still the cases out there where a coach says, hey, you're not cutting it, and I'm opening up this scholarship.
Okay, here's the question, Cody. So it feels like you have to have a new team every year, even if you're having success. Doug McDermott at Creighton even referenced that the other day. This is Creighton. This is a pretty good program. He said, you reinvent your team almost every year. He's had some guys stay now, but now he's kind of looking at that saying, now we're going to lose some guys. Can you have a new team every year, do you think?
I mean, that's what we've seen, and that's what's going to continue to happen. Wyoming cannot compete with the NIL money that, we're hearing all kinds of numbers being tossed out for Obi Agbum right now, and sources have told me that they think Baylor is his landing spot, and Wyoming can't compete with that. Wyoming can't give that kind of money, not to mention you can't create the atmosphere that you get at Baylor when you're playing in arguably the best basketball conference in the country. So I keep trying to think about this, too. JUCO coaches, I guess, are used to this. Their lineup turns over every year. I guess you're just going to have to find the right guys for that year and hope lightning strikes and grab a couple. Hopefully you can hang on to 2, 3, 4 guys that want to be with you for 2, 3 years and go from there. But remember back in the day, the upsets in March Madness that came from Cinderella came from old teams, like old mid-major teams filled with seniors.
Yes.
You don't see it anymore.
No. It's a totally different environment, and it's tough for the Wyomings, the South Dakota States, the North Dakota States, the USDs. I don't know how you can compete here because South Dakota State just lost 2 guys, one guy to UCLA, one guy to Kansas this past year, and we just killed them. They would have been pretty good with those guys. Okay.
No doubt. I always tell people, and it's hard to hear this, and it's not something you want to hear, but you got to go for the name on the front of the jersey more than ever now, and they're going to switch, and it's going to be new guys and all that. You got to hope lightning strikes and pull for Wyoming. I mean, that's really all you can do at this point. I don't know, because even if you give the NIL dollars, the return on investment is just not there. And you're talking about an older population of people here in this state, and I'm sure South Dakota, that aren't exactly eager to open up their wallets for a guy that might be here for 6 months. It's a really tough sell.
No, I get that. I asked my audience question of the day, Cody. I said, does the transfer portal work both ways? Meaning, I always hear, well, you can pick up players from other programs that were disregarded and bring in a player. I've seen Wyoming do this. Have they benefited a lot? Does it work both ways at a benefit?
Occasionally, but I'd argue we've seen more results in football because, these big programs, and especially now with the roster limits coming at 105, I think there's going to be some dudes that are really left behind that want to play Division I football. So I think you can really benefit there, but basketball, I don't know. I mean, why does Rick Pitino and Donovan Ben and why do those guys leave New Mexico? They play in front of, a sold-out house in the Pit every single night. They just won the Mountain West this year. They just won a NCAA tournament game. They gave Michigan State fresh hell the other night. Why do you leave? Why not turn that into a little Gonzaga? It's not enough. And from all accounts, they have a really good NIL budget, too.
Yeah.
And they definitely have a loyal fan base. It doesn't get much better than New Mexico in the Pit when that team's rolling, and they are in mourning today.
Cody Tucker joining us from Wyoming, covers the Cowboys, the Mountain West, 7220sports.com. Cody, tough sled, man. Keep it up. I appreciate you hopping on.
Thanks, buddy. Appreciate you. Go Phillies.
Thanks. I was going to say, he had to get the Phillies in for opening day tomorrow. Big Phillies guy, Cody Tucker. From 7220sports.com. Who's hot and who's not? Next.
This is South Dakota's Sports Talk Show.
Save big on everything for your next project when you shop at Menards. Menards is a leading supplier of quality roof and floor trusses. Choose from our huge selection of residential and post-frame trusses or custom design trusses specifically for your project. View our entire selection of quality roof and floor truss options today on Menards.com. Plus, check out our weekly flyer and find all the great deals happening this week at Menards.
Save big money at Menards.
I was the cool dad. My kids wanted me to take them to the mall. I didn't think anything about doing it in front of them, even though I knew it was illegal. Then my oldest started driving. Like father, like son. Gotta read that text right now. But he took a life, and now his is shattered too.
Addiction has many faces. Texting and driving when you know it's life-threatening and illegal can be one of them. Take back control. Put the phone down.
Brought to you by the South Dakota Office of Highway Safety, the South Dakota Broadcasters Association, and this station.
Experience the best selection and lowest prices in town at both Mr. Liquor stores in Rapid City. Save big on Black Box wine, 3 liters for $17.49. Or get $3 off 19 Crimes wine, now just $8.99. The popular High Noon ready-to-drink 4-packs reduced to only $9.99. Or stock up on 750s of Malibu rum, now $15.99. Remember, you can enjoy a delicious tap beer while you shop at the new Mr. Liquor 2 off Catron next to Walmart or on the corner of West Chicago and Sturgis Road in Rapid City.
It's game on at the #1 sportsbook in Deadwood. With next-level game packages at the BetMGM Sportsbook, Tin Lizzy Gaming Resort has the perfect spot to watch college basketball this season.
Hit that one from the parking lot!
Cheer on all your favorite teams in a comfortable lounge lined with wall-to-wall television arrays.
And that's it! What a comeback!
Seat packages include free play and dining credit to take your game day to the next level. Get yours today at tinlizzy.com. And don't miss a single moment of the NCAA basketball tournament at Tin Lizzy Gaming Resort.
Here's your Fox Sports Rapid City forecast. Mainly clear skies tonight with the lows around 39. North winds 5 to 10 miles per hour. High of 76 tomorrow. Tomorrow night 51. High of 71 Friday with a slight chance of rain. Mixed precipitation likely changing to all snow 39 on Saturday. That's your forecast on the Black Hills Sports Station, Fox Sports Rapid City. Currently 69.
If you're in the market for a vehicle right now, you probably have noticed it's sometimes hard to find the right one. That's where Summit Automotive Group steps in. Stacy and Matt and their staff working hard to get a great selection of pre-owned vehicles at affordable prices. At Summit Automotive, they have a different outlook on selling you a vehicle. You'll experience stress-free shopping, friendly, honest service with no high-pressure sales gimmicks. Before you buy, drop by East Highway 44, SummitAutoGRP.com.
Hi, this is Dr. Dan Jensen at Physio. We want to be your trusted partner for physical therapy, athlete development, and sports rehab. As the official strength and conditioning partners for Stevens, Central, Douglas, and the Rapid City Rush, our team at Physio is building the best athletes in the Black Hills. If you have an athlete in the family, we offer long-term athlete development at affordable prices for middle and high school students. We also have the only board-certified sports PT in Rapid City. At our brand new facility, Physio is ready to help you perform at your best. One-on-one physical therapy, athlete development, and sports rehab, all at one place. Get started at bhphysio.com.
This is The Nate Brown Show, also streaming live on YouTube. Subscribe to The Nate Brown Show on YouTube.
All right, let's roll. Who's hot and who's not? Brought to you by the Pizza Ranch, home of everyone's favorite buffet. Who's hot tonight on The Nate Brown Show? The transfer portal opened up Monday. You know how many players went in Monday? Over 700. Good luck. In our Pizza Ranch Who's Not category tonight, a high school girls basketball coach in New York fired for pulling on a girl's ponytail at the end of the game. You can find this video. Give me a break, Coach. Bad stuff. Thanks for listening to the Nate Brown Show. We're out. The podcast going up right now.
Who's gotten this text? Please pick up milk and buns on your way home. Now, milk is easy. Skim or 2